Write, watch.
Richard, what was the mental illness you're referring to?
These are Asperger's part of it. There were other mental disorders that he dealt with, but also the idea that he couldn't feel the sensation of pain, burning, cutting, things like that. We're putting all this on him and saying that later in life, it's likely anyone would say that he would be the one to be the shooter. That is not true. There's lots of.
Are you telling me you are absolutely confirming he had Asperger's?
Yes. I'm confirming and have been confirming since the very beginning. I was probably the first to say it. These conditions existed. I interacted with that boy daily for several years and can tell you that there was no indication by his behavior that he would carry out a heinous act. Okay.
Welcome, Sandy Hook researchers. Hello, and welcome to part 2. I don't know how many parts I'm going to make. It might just be 2, but I had planned 2 initially, and this was going to be the second part about witnesses to Adam Lanza. And the first video was about documents. And they sort of are hand in hand. They support each other, where there are documents that are supported by witnesses and vice versa. And the way these all tie together, it's pretty inconceivable that Adam Lanza could not exist, or that he was Ryan, being there were 4 years between them and they had a completely different set of friends, etc. So let me just move along to the information. And this is the first page of witnesses. And this is just something I sat down and compiled. It's not scientific. I may have missed some. It's supposed to be just for conversation. And I could have created a very long video with all of the articles or video clips to support all of these different people I'm listing, but that would be a major operation, so I just wanted to quickly speak about it. That's why I'm doing it this way. And also I don't have to worry about getting copyright strikes from some kind of video I might use from some network. That these things happen, and people who just watch videos and don't create them don't realize some of the difficulties people creating videos have with music and video. So anyway, also, I made a live chat last night regarding Trump, and I had my friend, hardcore conspiracy theorist, show up later, and we discussed some Sandy Hook. So I think there might be some value in that, to listen to that. So onward, Adam Lanza witnesses. Babysitter Ryan Kraft was a person who claimed he was the babysitter for Adam Lanza, and he also went to Newtown High School with Ryan. So right there, they cannot be the same person. How could Ryan Kraft babysit Adam and also go to school with Ryan at the same time? So these things don't work out, and that's the point of this video, is to show evidence that Adam and Ryan are not the same person. They could not be. Next one is bus driver. I didn't put her name on here, but it's Martha, and she described 2 Lanza boys. She drove 2 Lanza boys to school, and then at some point there was only one, because Ryan graduated and or whatever, moved away, and Adam was left behind to ride the bus alone, apparently. So, more evidence they're not the same person. Classmates. I have many interviews with classmates on video and in articles, and they are of the age of Adam and talk about going to school with Adam. Can't be the same person. Doctors, Danbury Hospital, there was an emergency room visit in September of 2005, and that was when Nancy took Adam to the emergency ward, and that was his last day that he ever spent at St. Rose of Lima School, although he did return to the church. And something happened at St. Rose of Lima School, and he left. She never allowed him to go back. And those medical records at Danbury were seized immediately when the Sandy Hook event went down. Very oddly, within 2 hours, if I remember correctly. I did a video about this, and it's still on my channel. They were very anxious to go and retrieve those medical records, and as far as I know, they are completely withheld. Continuing, friends. There's multiple friends interviewed in the final reports that discussed being friends at some point with Adam. Not with Ryan, with someone named Adam. And there's more of that coming up in the next couple pages here. Gun shooting range employees and witnesses. The NRA trainer in Monroe. In my last video, I mistakenly said it was in Danbury for some reason. And thank you for correcting me on that. I was just sloppy in not double checking that. So that gun shooting range was in Monroe, and it burnt down. And that trainer, though, discussed training Adam and Nancy, and they both got certificates. Nobody by the name of Ryan, and Ryan was already moved away in going to school or something, or living in New Jersey. Then also there was a man who gave Adam some informal training at Wooster Mountain gun shooting range, and that was Nancy asking him to do that because she knew him from my place, the bar, where she would hang out and try to get people to help her get rid of illegal guns she owned when she didn't actually own any illegal guns. So figure that one out. Just a joke, but it is true. Page 2. Neighbors. There are a few different neighbors that discuss both Adam and Ryan. So I don't know how you can explain that if they're the same person. Two different boys, and yeah, anyway. Parents. Classmates with Adam. So there were parents who had their children in class with Adam, and they testified to the fact they had him over for birthday parties, and in some cases they did school projects together. The more famous one would be the Big Book of Granny, where that was done by two different students, and Adam was just one of the two. And so that proves there was a child of that particular age working with Adam on a project at school at that time. And that's been testified in the final reports as well as in media interviews. So you can't deny that. And so the older Ryan could not have been doing projects with little children while he was older. Continuing, the police, they were aware of Adam. They won't say much about why they were aware of Adam, but they knew who he was. And there was also claims of a FBI visit in 2004. Supposedly, Adam had hacked or tried to hack into some sort of government computers or military computers. I don't believe that story for a variety of reasons, but I'm not going to get into that now. That does not mean the FBI or government officials did not visit for some reason. I just don't believe the hacking part of it. So, continuing to priests. St. Rose of Lima Church and School. There were records retrieved by warrant, and there were priests interviewed about Adam when he went to church. And he was visiting the church right up until before the Sandy Hook massacre. So I don't know how much they've investigated that, but I find that very interesting. But in the Sedensky report, there's priests mentioned in there discussing that Adam was a very, at least at one point, was very hardcore Catholic. or Christian, whatever you want to call it, but let's just say Catholic. Psychiatrist. Dr. Paul Fox was Adam's psychiatrist, and all records were destroyed because after 5 years, I believe, was the number of years, he wasn't obligated to keep the records, according to him. And that's a long story because he also fled the country on charges and was living in New Zealand, but not really wanting to get into that. But there are records of Nancy emailing with him, and there are records of Newtown High School in communication with Dr. Fox, and Yale as well. And we'll move along to Yale in the next one here, which is psychologists. Yale did an evaluation of Adam, and that was also shared with Newtown High School. Newtown High School did evaluations and tests on Adam. They had a in-house psychologist, and also they worked with the psychiatrists. So there were these three entities that worked together to try to help or determine what was going on with Adam. That's according to the official information. Moving along to page 3, the final page. Teachers. We have various teachers in elementary, middle, and high school who have made various comments in different media interviews where they discuss having Adam as a student. So I don't know how they could do that when he was Ryan and 4 years older. That doesn't work out. Tech Club at Newtown High School. Richard Novia, who you heard at the beginning, he had both Adam and Ryan in his classes at totally different times, different years. I think he would probably know the difference between the two of them, since they're completely different looking and apparently different acting, different personalities, etc. And in the clip you heard, Richard Novia confirmed that Adam had autism / Asperger's, however you want to term it. Now this was confirmed in all kinds of documentation by Yale, and then later this was pretty much retracted in the Child Advocate report. Extremely suspicious, and outright lies within that, like that Adam did not attend 8th grade, which is a complete lie, and I did a video on that. Theater employees. There is at least one that saw Adam, identified Adam as DDR guy. He played DDR all the time. There was someone named DDR girl who Adam apparently played with at some point for a certain amount of time. And there was also a friend of Adam's who basically met him through that. In one of the interviews, he discusses how he met Adam through DDR. Also, there are GPS records that support that Adam traveled to the theater, and at some very odd times as well, and parked in some very odd areas near the theater. That's just an aside I'm mentioning. So it could not be Ryan, because Ryan was living somewhere else and going to university when these GPS records were shown to be working. So it's just not possible. And now we're going to get on to the last one. University professors, WCSU, Western Connecticut State University. Multiple professors confirmed having Adam in their classes. Some remembered him, some did not. He had dropped a couple classes, so that was one reason that one of the professors didn't quite remember him. Another one remembered him being very outspoken about things like the gold standard and Ron Paul type things. So that was an interesting comment. And they have a record of his grades, so it's impossible that Ryan could be going to that university while he was working at a job. So it's just not possible that they're the same person. And it was the media who came out with the grades of Adam Lanza, not the investigators. The investigators have suppressed all information about Adam, all pictures, all videos, all information they possibly can suppress. The only information you get about Adam Lanza is from third parties who have released that information. And that's one of the things I want to stress. So in summation, Adam Lanza cannot be Ryan Lanza. 4 years apart, totally different looking, and both went to the tech club in very different years, taught by the same teacher. I think Richard Novia would notice they're a different person, and I'm not sure why Ryan would go back to high school and repeat high school when he had really excellent grades. So, doesn't make any sense, and HOAX loses again.